So a few days ago, this video released explaining the UEFN algorithm, and after watching it and doing a bit of research to see if it's valid, it appears to be pretty accurate. So I'm going to be breaking everything down and show you how to get into Discovery almost every single time. Alright, so before we get started, MinervaUefn, or however you pronounce his channel, will all be in the description. This whole document is all his. I'm just going to simplify it to help explain it better. Alright, so I'm just going to start from the top, and then we'll just go through the whole document, and I'm going to just try to make this as interesting as possible. So pretty much this first part is just saying to create a successful Fortnite map, you need to have good execution, and pretty much the first 24 hours is the most important. And this whole document gets into detail of how the whole algorithm works and how to best increase the chance of getting featured in Discovery. Alright, so the first thing that the algorithm looks at is time spent in UEFN matters. So Epic tracks how much time you spend actively building in UEFN. So that pretty much just means when you have UEFN open and you're adding stuff and changing stuff in the map, Epic tracks that and can see how much stuff you have added and changed within the map. It also says to turn on revision control and submit as many changes as you can. Alright, so the way you do that is once you're in your project, you just come over to this little button in the corner called revision control, and you just click it and then click connect to revision control, and then just click on the provider and click UEFN revision control, and then just hit accept settings. And then pretty much once you add anything to the map, you then just want to come over to this button over here and hit check in changes, and then just add a description of what you added. And you don't need to do this for everything. It pretty much just recommends to do this as many times as you can to the map. And then the last thing is to not publish a map if it has not spent at least 30 hours active in UEFN, and that's actively building in UEFN, and having it open doesn't count. So you need to be actively building in the map. Alright, so moving on to the second thing, and it is playtest. Ensure to create a playtest version of the map and have as many people playtest your map as possible. And if you don't know how to do this, Fortnite has an entire document of how to do playtesting, and all you have to do is look up playtesting in Fortnite Creative, and this document should come up. But then the next thing is the more time and individuals you have playtesting, the greater your chances of success. So pretty much just try to get as many people you can to playtest the map and have them play it as long as possible. And this is also good because if there's any bugs or glitches on the map, you can fix it before you finally publish the map. Alright, so the third thing in the UEFN algorithm is your promotional media is crucial. Pretty much if you have a good thumbnail on your map, players will click it, and Fortnite uses those analytics. And then also have not only a thumbnail but have a square image, lobby background, and most importantly a video showcasing your island. This is all done as you're publishing the map. Alright, so moving into more in-depth details, this information is actually super valid. The first 24 hours is the most crucial period for map success, and pretty much the first 24 hours post-launch, especially the first 12, are pivotal in establishing your map's trajectory. Without dedication, promotional efforts, maps often start with low player counts, 0 to 1 players, during the first initial few hours, and within approximately 8 hours the algorithm begins assessing your map, potentially featuring it in the categories like new variety or new combat pages. And if your player count rises quickly, your map may appear in gaining traction or up and coming categories. And lastly, performance on these pages is instrumental in securing a foothold and may influence the long-term success. So pretty much based off this, if you follow all the previous steps, this first 24 hours is the most important, and I would recommend to have as many TikToks as you can promoting the map. Post them on TikTok, YouTube Short, and post the map on Twitter. Pretty much anything you can get to get as many players in the beginning. And this is a chart of how many people are playing Fortnite Creative, and the peak is usually on Saturday and Sunday because it's the weekend. And later on throughout the document, it's going to dive into the best time to publish a map to best utilize this information. Alright, so moving on to the fifth step, and this part is pretty much just covering the importance of playtime on the map. And maps with longer average playtime tend to perform better in Fortnite's Discovery algorithm as they indicate higher player engagement. And here's a graph of average playtime on a map, and if you could get players to stay around for at least 16 minutes, your chances of getting featured will be much higher. And you'll see after about 20 minutes, the average playtime usually goes down. So aim to add challenges or things that unlock after a certain amount of time to increase the engagement on your map. Alright, so moving on to the sixth thing is optimizing map release timing. And the best time to release a map is 11 p.m. CST on a Friday or Saturday night. And because releasing your map late Friday or Saturday night aligns with the peak player activity over the weekend, player counts tend to rise early Saturday and Sunday mornings, and maps are usually featured approximately 6 hours after release. And then this timing ensures your map reaches players during high activity periods, boosting the chances of increased engagement. So pretty much it's just recommending to publish your map on a Friday, so then over the weekend when Fortnite has the most players on the game, your chances of getting high playtime and just plays in general will be the highest because most people are on Fortnite. And while there is no guaranteed method to featuring a map, employing certain strategies can significantly enhance your map's visibility. And then the last thing is post-release actions, maintenance, and enhancing map performance. Publishing is just the beginning. To keep engagement high, developers should take action steps post-release to maintain and improve the map. So once you first publish your map, if you see that the engagement is low, try to add some things to the map that will increase it. Maybe like a certain weapon unlocks after 30 minutes or whatever, add quests. Just try to increase the engagement of your map. And then lastly, a thoughtful approach in the first 24 hours can set a lasting foundation for your map's journey within Fortnite. So pretty much once you publish your map, that's the most important time. You want to make sure your map is good. Have playtesting so there's no glitches or bugs in the map. And within the first 24 hours, if it gets a lot of plays and good engagement, your chances of the map performing well and staying in discovery for a while is much higher if you follow all these steps. And that's pretty much it for this document. And once again, none of this information is mine. It's all just a copy from MinervaUefn's channel. Go subscribe to him. If you want the document, he has it on his video of how to get it. But the last thing I want to show you is just this Reddit post. It was posted 10 months ago and it pretty much just backs up everything in the document, but in more details. So if you guys want to read it, here it is. Just pause the video. But that is the entire UEFN algorithm based off what the community knows. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.